didn't, girl.
Girl? Yeah, I did.
Welcome to the Patreon edition of Oh No Girl. Yes, she used to be my friend. She's strictly my co-host now. Strictly my co-host. This is the episode we've been waiting on for a couple of weeks. But thank y'all for subscribing to Patreon. And I've already gotten some of your comments from this wonderful little video that some little person put together. That I didn't sign no clearances for or anything.
She was like, did you really post this without sharing it with me first? I'm like, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, she posted it before I saw it, because then when she sent me the video, it already had comments. And she said, well, I couldn't send it to you while he was there, so I watched it. And it was interesting watching me be in the situation. I was in the situation. I knew what it felt like. My first thought was I definitely probably should have drawn in some eyebrows for the day. But it was just different. So anyway, tell me, friend, your experience of my experience, and then I'll tell you my actual experience of the weekend.
Okay, so I was only there for one day, so what do I have? But like a couple of hours. Anyway, so I thought he was a nice looking guy and very nice guy. But I thought he was nice when he apologized to me the last time when he didn't show up on the previous visit. So when I walked in, there was a debate over how to use the grill, how to cook the meat, how to prepare the meat, all that kind of stuff. And so y'all saw some of that on camera.
Yeah, that was on.
Huh?
That was very funny. So to see the edited video from your viewpoint, even talking about I live on the other side of town. No, you live on the other side of town.
You live on the other side of town.
So let me say that. I live in town. You live on the other side of town. So start there.
And I let that go on and on because I really wanted y'all to feel my pain. I was like, I'm getting content for y'all. I am driving on the other side of town.
But anybody who's watching that is like, oh, she's driving towards the city. So that means you live on the other side of town.
I live in my town.
I live in town.
But anyway, so yeah. So, y'all saw the video when I was trying to keep her from taking over outside, letting whatever happened outside happen outside. And she maybe got a 50 on that. So a failing grade.
50 out of what? 51?
50 out of 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from the overall, from when I walked in to when I don't even know if she said anything after I left.
You're giving me a 50 out of 100?
On that particular amount, yes. On that.
Okay, because what I didn't do nothing that I wanted to do.
I know, but it still was a 50.
Okay.
Because I told her.
As you saw in the video, the fire was too hot.
I told her, let the man burn it down.
That is what she said. We were sitting inside the house, and I'm looking out the window, and I see this fire being too hot. I see my grill being destroyed, and I said, he's about to burn down my house. And this one says, let him burn it down. Just that calm. Let him burn it down. Yeah.
I did.
And I feel like that was good advice.
Because I told her, I was like, he'll buy you a new grill. If he destroys it, he will have to buy you another one. Ain't really ain't nothing to talk about.
And then even when I said, but the meat gonna be burnt on the outside and raw on the inside is too hot, you told me, well, today I guess you just gonna eat some raw meat.
I said, you can eat raw meat for one day.
That's what she said. You can eat, it ain't the rest of your life. You can eat raw meat one day. This is what she's telling me. So I'm sitting here like, or you cannot burn my house down and we can have some meat that's cooked all the way through.
Yeah.
So but my friend said to me, let him burn the house down. He'll buy you a new one. He'll buy you a new deck and get you a new grill. Eat that raw meat today.
I did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think this was the ledge we were gonna die on. Like we're not gonna let this be the thing. So not at least not while I was there. Now whatever.
No, it was good you were there in that moment because I received what you said, and even though it was still burning me up literally, I did not make another mention. Even when he was bringing us in cuts to eat, I did not want to say I needed more cooked. It was like, okay, I know I said medium, but I needed more cooked than that.
And it was, in his defense, it was medium. Medium well would have been a little bit more. But
here's the thing. The issue is I don't like smoked meats because smoked meats are always going to be a little bit more wetter and uncooked than my liking. People, you go to restaurants, I'm not going to order the smoked meat, nothing. So if he had listened to me in the front end, he would have known I prefer my meat to be cooked over direct heat.
Yeah, she did mention that in the end. Did you tell him that?
I told him that after the fact.
Yeah. But I just told her, let him smoke the meat, let him burn the grill, let him make it raw, whatever. And when he brought the food in, I don't think I said anything negative about the food.
You didn't.
See, positive reinforcement.
Me not to say nothing negative.
Positive reinforcement. I said, you know what? That flavor is good.
Right. But when he opened the chicken and he said, the chicken said, you said, yeah, it looks done.
No, I didn't.
I said, that chicken just clucked. When the cow mooed, and you said,
I said it was a little light skin, is what I said.
You said it got some good flavor. And the cow is still mooing in your mouth?
Because what I was hearing him say is, let me do this. Let me do this. He said that over and over again. Let me do this. Go inside. I got this. Let me do it. So once they get that confidence, you just got to let them do it. Ain't no need in arguing about it. Okay.
So, but you overall, you thought he was a nice guy.
Yes.
You give him the endorsement.
Yes. I mean, he drove 12 hours to see you. I don't know when the last time a man drove 12 hours to see me.
Okay, so let me say, he got in town on Thursday night, got in late Thursday night, around 11:30. Because he stopped a lot along the way. He was still working, so he was pulling over, doing conference calls, sending emails. So he he basically walked here because at first he said he was going to be here earlier. He also said he was going to leave San Antonio earlier. So whatever. I really didn't care about when he got here. I really was more attached to his safety at that point because, I'm a worrier anyway. So I had a show Thursday night, so he didn't get here until after my show Thursday night. The dogs never bark when he shows up. So that's always odd and weird. And so everybody was tired Thursday night. Friday, we kind of just hung around and watched TV, went and got some Chinese food. My new book came in. So then that was a thing. We also, I had a show Friday night. So then kind of I took a nap because he was still working all day Friday. And I just went upstairs to a different bedroom to just take a nap before my show because keep in mind, I'm still tired from the night before from being up so late and everything. So we go to my show. He had never seen me on stage before. It's his first time seeing me on stage. Leaving the show, I was like, well, how was it? And he was like, oh, it was cool. It was cool. People were laughing. I said, I'm not asking you about their experience. I'm asking you about your experience of seeing me, somebody you've known for almost 20 years, on stage for the first time. Now, what's interesting about my friends and my family, I don't want to say they aren't impressed with me, but anybody who knows me knows that I'm just being me. So I think people who spend time with me and know me tend to be a little underwhelmed about when I do anything, because it's like, yeah, okay, whereas people who don't know me like, oh my God, what did your mom say about the book? And I'm like,
I called and reminded her that I wrote one. She was like, oh, cool.
Right. So that's the thing. And it's not that they're not supportive and proud of me. It's just, it's Tuesday, And so he was kind of like that, which I actually sort of appreciated because he does know me as a young woman before I ever did comedy, before I was who I am now. And not even saying professionally, but just who I have developed into as a woman. He knew me when I was much younger and much underdeveloped. The same way that I feel he was very underdeveloped our first go round as well. For the record. Saturday, we did nothing because he had to get up and leave early Sunday morning to get back to San Antonio to be ready for work on Monday. You came over on Saturday. That was the whole grill scenario. And I was not raised with my father. I have brothers, but they aren't very brotherly or doting on me. So I've never had that type male energy, let alone in the house that I paid for, not let alone on the grill that I bought, let alone with the meat that I purchased. And so trying to relinquish the control of mine was a different event for me. It was like, oh, Okay, I want him to be the man, but
Yeah.
also this my stuff. I got it. Sit down. I'll cook for you. So that's something I will have to learn how to do because it did not come natural to me. And it's not that it felt bad or wrong outside of the fact of the raw meat and burning up my stuff.
Yeah.
It just felt like, well, it could be better if we did like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Better meaning.
So how did the meal go? Tell us how the meal went.
By the time, so after you left, I just went and sat outside with another drink. So that was another part of my problem. I started mixing alcohols. He didn't really drink. And so I was sitting outside. I said, well, I'm just going to sit outside with you and just supervise you at this point. Now, I will say one of the sweetest moments, the sweetest moment from the whole time was, he had asked me, could he give the dog some bones, some chicken bones? He had tasted some of the wings and he had the bones. And I was like, they really don't do chicken bones. But again, it's a holiday, right? So he had given the little dog, Bella, some bones from the chicken. So I think it's like 3 little bones in the chicken wing. And so Sugar was in the house. So by the time I said, Sugar, come here, he has something for you. When he put down the 3 bones for Sugar, Bella came and took one of the bones. Now, who cares? Sugar got her bone. Bella had a little extra bone. Who cares?
Bella is
maybe about 30 minutes go by. I know you love Bella so much. So I go back in the house, whatever. I come back outside, and the whole time, and you will say this, he's been giving me little pieces of meat to taste or whatever. So when I come outside, I see in the pan there's a little piece of steak off that's been cut off over there. So I go and I reach for the steak, and he says, "That's for Sugar, the dog." And I said, "This right here, it's for the dog." He said, "Yeah, that's for." I said, "Well, why would that be for the dog?" He says, "Well, because Bella took one of her bones, and he wanted to make it right with Sugar." So I was telling him that they don't know how to count like that. So Sugar don't know that she missing a bone. Bella don't know that she necessarily got an extra bone.
Bella know. Bella know.
Bella may know. But this is my steak, and I'm about to eat it. So I said, "Did you drop it on the floor? Is something wrong with it?" He was like, "No." Okay, so I took it. We don't be sitting out here giving the dog steak at the lake house. So I go back in the house, and someone else come back out. It's another little piece of steak off to the side. So I said, I'm going to give Sugar this steak so I will feel better about it. And that was the answer. He gave Sugar that steak. He dropped it on the ground. And for the rest of the night, Sugar kept barking to go back outside. And she kept going back to that same spot. I said, she now thinks steak rolled out of the concrete. Right. But I thought that was actually a very sweet moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your dogs liked him.
My dogs really do like him, and he's very affectionate with them. He took them for a walk. He helped me water my neighbor's plants since they went out of town. I mean, so he is very helpful. He kept wanting to wash the dishes and wanting to just, stuff. I'm like, just be my guest and sit down. Those dishes will get washed, even if it ain't until tomorrow, because they still ain't been washed. It'll be all right. I don't want you to spend your time washing dishes. So I would say, okay, so then that was Saturday night. We stayed out and watched the fireworks after dinner. And then went to bed pretty early because he had to get up so early. And so he left here probably about 5 a.m. to drive back to San Antonio. He got back in San Antonio about 5:30, so he made pretty good time. I called a couple of times. Once he got home, he FaceTimed me to show me he was home, and then he FaceTimed when he got out the shower, and he called the next morning to, like he normally does early before he gets ready to go out to work, and we FaceTime a few times. So the reason why I'm talking about the back end conversations is a lot of times when you spend time with somebody, especially, from Thursday to Sunday, sometimes it's like you spend a few days just kind of detaching and not really talking that much because we just saw each other, and he hasn't fallen off on his communication yet. And so it's still just been one day, but I've noticed that as a positive thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. The entire trip, we weren't overly emotional or romantic, or it didn't feel like anything had to happen, or that no outcomes were attached to the visit, I guess I should say. And so it just felt more like seeing an old friend, spending time with somebody that I felt comfortable with, that the dogs felt comfortable with. I didn't feel like I was walking on eggshells having a house guest. So it was cool. I would say it was a really good trip.
How would you rate the weekend from 1 to 10?
1 to 10. 10 is the best?
Yes.
I would give it I get to take off points for the meat and the grill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would give it a 9.6.
So he only lost 0.4 points for the raw meat in the grill? Did you find that?
Overall, in the grand scheme of things. Because
I'm shocked.
No, let me tell you what, seriously, outside of him coming here and like just being mean or rude or causing me to have a bad time, there's really not much he could have done to have less than a 10 once he made that effort, to be honest.
So had he cooked the perfect meal and not burned up your grill, he would have had a 10. So that was the only bad thing.
He would have had a 10 plus. He would have had a 12, 13.
I witnessed the only conflict.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We didn't have, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like an attachment to something having to be any kind of way. It was, hey, you want to watch Hamilton? Okay, well, let me get Disney. Then we didn't do that. Okay, you want, everything was just very casual. Nothing.
He said y'all were saving Hamilton for me. That's what he said.
He did say that.
So yeah, we went to Hamilton on when you came in. I was like, oh, appreciate it.
But that's the thing. There was no attachment to anything having to be a certain kind of way. The only thing we had was I had that show Friday night that we had to be there at a certain time. But like I said, we laugh and joke and talk pretty much the whole time. That time when you got there, that was the only time where it was like hey, that's not how I think you should do that. And him saying, I got this. And me saying,
so was my presence, did my presence affect that?
No, we was having that conversation before you got there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, the minute
some people had to show out their friends.
Listen, once he was asking for all that extra accelerant for the fire, I knew we was in trouble.
Man, the funniest part of that video was when he was talking. Like he actually was sending her pictures and stuff from the grill, so she could calm down after I closed the blind.
And then when he sent me the video, this was saying, "Hey, send me that video."
Yeah, I said, "Oh yeah, I need that for my content." But the funniest part when he said, "See, I didn't burn anything. I mean, the paint. They should have put the paint on the grill anyway."
They put that paint on there anyway.
That is not a man thing to say about something that ain't supposed to be there because you done burnt it off.
And that's a perfect example of what I will have to learn as a woman.
He said they should have
offer this man some level of confidence in his life. Because I mentioned it to my mom, and my mom's been married to her second husband. He's an older guy for almost 20 years. And my mom said she'll buy something brand new and he will tear it up trying to assemble it. And he'll say, oh, well, it was made in China. It was cheap anyway.
What are you talking about?
And you have to just be like,
It's that typical thing when we see these sitcoms where the husband puts together something that still has all these pieces on the side.
Extra
like,
parts,
we ain't need
won't stop and ask for directions on, and the woman just have to sit there like. So yes, when he said, "Look at this meat," yeah, they should have put that paint on there. Yeah, I burnt your grill. Yeah, and it was very matter of fact. Yeah, I burnt your grill up.
They shouldn't have put the paint on there though. It's just the paint.
I've had that grill for a couple of years. That paint ain't never came off before that day.
So during this 4 days, it was Friday, three days. What did you feel any anxiety at any point with him being in your house 24 hours a day?
No.
Was there a moment where you're like, I need to go upstairs? Or I know you took a nap. That was something different, but there was no anxiety. Second question is this, and I'm asking for myself because I know how I am. Like, especially, I like the long distance thing.
Right.
So normally when I see someone who doesn't live in my state and we spend a weekend together or something like that, I'm good for about 3 months. Is that how you feel? Or I am. I mean, or I feel like I'm not anxious. I don't have to, like, I get my fix and then I'm like, okay, I'm back to being a single woman again.
Right.
So are you good with that, or are you anxious to see him again? Are you looking forward to the next time you see him again? Already thinking about it?
I'm looking forward to the next time I see him. I'm not anxious about it. Because before he came, and when keep in mind, we just reconnected around my birthday. So that'd be like in May, right? So around that first part of our conversation or reconnection, he made the comment that he wanted to make an effort of us seeing each other once a month. So to me, that sounds like perfect, once a month. Now, I'll be curious if he brings it up again, because he did put forth all the effort and the time and energy for that first time, which as he should. I mentioned to him when he was driving back, I said to him, well, I wonder what would be a good halfway point. To where then I can take half the drive, you take half the drive, and that way a whole day isn't lost just trying to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he didn't really know. I mean, from where he lives in San Antonio, it takes like 6-7 hours just to get out of Texas.
Right.
So New Orleans might be an option, or, you know, something like that. Because I would want to make the effort to see him again and hang out. And I think we can have fun if we just, like, you know, we call those vacation ships. So you just meet in different places. But again, we in a different world now too. But I don't have anxiety about when will I see him again, but I am looking forward to seeing him again. But I'll be curious if he brings it up. I think I want to try to let him bring up next time.
Okay.
When you were here, you mentioned you had people in San Antonio and you were talking about a road trip. And I said to you, well, I haven't been invited to San Antonio, to which he took great exception to.
He did.
He took great exception. He was in the kitchen, and I said, well, I haven't been invited. I
wasn't even all the way out the kitchen.
I wasn't even saying it for him to hear it. I was just saying it to you that I hadn't been invited. And he was like, wait a minute. You hadn't been invited? Wait a minute. You've never been invited to San Antonio? And I said, no, I haven't. And then he said, last year, didn't I invite you to San Antonio? Now, I was not paying this man no attention last year.
Right.
And like I said, in the 18 years that we've been broken up, he has made attempts throughout different years and spaces of time. I have never received him because I felt like he had never been fully honest about our first go round. So that just happened last year. So even last year when we started talking a little bit, and he said that he wanted to try to get me back, and I felt like he still wasn't being transparent about those many years before, when he had said to me, would you come to San Antonio? I think he said I laughed, which I probably did. Like, what would I come to San Antonio for? I would go to San Antonio now. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I would go now. But again, as I told him, and I even said it to him after you left when we were talking at night, I said, do you understand when you say you invited me to San Antonio last year that I did not receive that as an actual invitation because I still kind of hated you last year? So, you know, that would have to be a new invitation, a new idea for me now.
Right.
What else? You got some more questions? I feel like I did good. I feel like y'all should be proud of me.
Yeah, I am proud of you. I think some of them, they said they were proud, they were happy for you. Somebody said you were blushing at the table.
I think I might have been blushing more than I was embarrassed. No, I think I was blushing more that you kept filming me. I think I was blushing more because you were filming me.
I know, it was.
Right, yeah. I was more embarrassed that you was like recording me, more so than what I felt about him.
But I didn't want to tell you I was going to record anything until I got there. I had already decided when I woke up. I was like, I think I'm going to document this.
Yeah, but I would have put on some eyebrows, God.
We family.
That's what I'm saying. The dogs would have been brushed.
I absolutely had a full face of makeup on, so that was
You did.
I will admit.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when I see the video, I see your highlights and contour, and I see my eyebrows looking like a brush fire. And then I realized, wait, was I looking like that around a man that I would like to find me attractive? Because I have obviously been.
But I told you that. I was like, I hadn't been anywhere, so I wanted to put some makeup on, but at the same time, I know how it is entertaining somebody. That ain't, I mean.
Wait, he was sitting right there. I was like, yeah, your makeup looked pretty. You started telling me about your makeup and everything. And I looked at him and I was like, well, I didn't do nothing. He said, but you had on eyebrows yesterday. I said, yeah, you saw me yesterday.
Yes, yeah, you know how I look with the eyebrows.
You saw me yesterday with eyebrows. You're right. We good.
That's
your makeup every day. So, I mean, I think it went well. I think it went as well as it could. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing, with that being our first time trying to spend time together.
Right.
In almost 20 years.
Yeah.
It was big because it wasn't awkward. It wasn't forced. Everything was just very naturally calm, sitting on the couch. You know, the dogs would come and sit on them. You know, it was just, everything just felt normal. And it did feel like reconnecting with an old friend. So that feeling was very positive to me versus a new guy. Because even though I did not receive him all those years that he's tried, and, you know, all the reasons why I didn't, that also gives him points that I will say this man has tried at various points in 18 years to get back with me. Mm-hmm. So I think it happens when it should happen.
Based off our last podcast, not the one that's coming out this week, but the one from last Tuesday, are you still open? Is that still a goal of yours?
Oh, am I still a free agent? I'm still a free agent, yes. But keep in mind, you know, he and I aren't like a couple or aren't.
I know that's what, but you know how it don't matter. We meet.
I know. There's some great, wonderful guy approach me or whatever. I mean, but here's the thing, and this is why we always have a problem with free agency, is because that just don't happen like that.
Yeah, this is true.
But if it did happen, I would be open for sure.
No, I was saying, I mean, I think the whole conversation last week was like, or especially with the two of us, a lot of times we're not embracing free agency and we're not in a relationship either. So it's like, what's the point? Like, why are you know what I mean?
I think it helps in that he lives in another state. Mm-hmm. And so if there was somebody here in this area that I was interested in and that was interested in me, then yeah, I would, go out and do stuff or whatever, possibly.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that would be interesting, because we didn't talk about this in the free agency. Like, would I tell him that? So like if he had a date, like we talk every night.
I think no.
If he had a date,
want to know about his date,
right? He shouldn't tell me he had a date.
Right. I wouldn't want to know about that at this point.
Right. Right.
And so yeah, I wouldn't tell him. What y'all think? Tell us. I don't know.
Tell us what y'all think. But I mean, I'm assuming the same thing. And like I said, I don't feel any, okay, what are we, and and I think that's my growth and maturity too, because I'm pretty sure back in the day, if a man had made this effort and we had a great time, I would be calculating the days until what's next. Yeah. And I don't feel any of that whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's my maturity in this situation of, we had a good time. I look forward to seeing him again. I don't have the anxiety of, is he going to call? Did he like me? Was it? I don't feel any of that. And I normally do feel that. I normally get really sad if I had a connection with somebody and I traveled to see them or they came to see me. By the time that last little hour or them packing their bags, I normally would get real pitiful of them leaving. And I told him Saturday night before we even went to bed, I said, what's interesting is, this is the first time that I might potentially miss you ever. Because when we were together, we lived in the same city and we broke up and I hated you. But I haven't missed you in 18 years. And this is the first time I would have seen you and you left. And I'd plan on talking to you ever again. So I said, this potentially would be the first time I would ever even miss you. Yeah. So that's new for me. For him, yeah. But it didn't feel... that's the thing. We don't do the belabored, okay, we'll talk to you later. We don't do that. It's just like, all right, bye. All right, see you later. All right, talk to you later. We hug about, all right, bye. It's not a big, it doesn't feel forced or artificial because it seems like you would have this big, long, romantic embrace before he gets on the road to head back west. It wasn't all that. It was like, hey, be careful. Call me when you get sleepy or something, Mm-hmm. So,
5:30 is a great time to be leaving somebody's house.
Yeah, you did say that. You're like, oh, he left at 5 a.m. That's a dream. That is a dream. Now, I did cook. I cooked catfish and grits one morning, and then one day we got some Chinese food, and then one day I made scrambled eggs and waffles. He doesn't eat pork. Yeah. So that's why we
You didn't even make bacon for yourself? You just left it alone?
No, but I did get my cumin pork spare ribs for Chinese food. Yeah. But so anyway, the other thing we would like for y'all to comment on, I was saying I wanted help with, I want to send him a gift. I want to surprise him and send something to his home. I have his address because he bought one of my books. And so he would not be expecting anything or looking for anything. So I would like to surprise him. So if you have any ideas of what would be a really cool, obviously not expensive, but just thoughtful gift for a man to show, just a thanks. I have thanked him. I told him, I really do appreciate you making that effort. And, I told him I felt like I felt like it was worth it. I hope you do. He said, no, I totally feel like it was worth it. And, he seems to be glad he did it. And, but I want to send him something. So in the comments, let me know you had a good idea of he just got some new furniture and he's kind of building the living room look. So you said some manly coasters or something. And then he does work out of his car mostly throughout the day. So maybe something that can make his life a little bit easier in the car, more enjoyable. So ideas, I want to try to get it sent before Thursday. Mm-hmm. So? Before Thursday.
Oh, well, this won't drop until Wednesday. So.
Right. So tell me before Thursday.
Till a Wednesday.
Yeah, tell me Wednesday. Don't be taking time to think about it because I would like to be able to have it to him before the beginning of next week. Whether I go buy something and send it or if I order something and send it.
Yeah, I get it. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Thank y'all. I think some of y'all, we got at least one comment or one suggestion for what y'all want to be called. I can't remember what it was, but it had the word glow in it. I can't remember what it was, but
it had the word glow.
Yeah, it was like Glow Squad or something. I don't know, but yeah, keep putting those out there, and we'll pick something.
Okay.
To call y'all. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, obviously.
Yes.
And because we'll have some content for that eventually as well. We do put content on there, but it's stuff y'all already seen for the most part.
So it went well. That's the whole point of the story. Thumbs up. Yeah. He actually showed up. That was his first thing, I will say, at first night. He kept saying, you said I wasn't coming. I said, well, I think I'm more attached to disappointments. Yeah. Working out, and that's my journey. So yeah. Because he kept saying leading up to the week, okay, I'm gonna see you in 3 days. Okay, I'm gonna see you in 2 days. And I'm still kind of like, yeah, right, sure. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure I will. So he was very proud that he made it.
So yeah, 9.6 out of 10. That's a win.
Yeah.
I said we had a winner in the video. I did say that.
And you know what? He is the type person and personality that I would get a box delivered that would be a new grill or something. You know what I'm saying? He is that type person. Even if he doesn't do it, he's the type person that would. Yeah. But I'm not going to mention the grill or say nothing about it.
Yeah, I don't think he should.
I know. You've communicated that.